So now what do I do? Well, I guess there's only one thing. There's something I'd like to know. Are you real? Can you feel?
Hi friends, I'm Prairie Vintage. My name's Linda. I'm an energy intuitive reader here on YouTube. I use spirit, my intuition, the tarot to communicate energies to you guys, fabulous viewers. If you guys are new to this channel, welcome. You found me. For those of you guys returning, I'm so blessed to be here doing your reading again today. If you guys want to go straight away to the reading, you can do so. I'll put a timestamp below, although I do suggest you listen to this intro and this disclaimer or this channeled message before you get your panties in a tizzy about what this reading is about, or else I will boop you right here, boop, boop, boop to this timestamp so that you don't get all twisted in regards to what this reading is about, okay? This isn't a fluffy reading in regards to some spiritual bypassing and some big purpose that you're going to have once you're on this timeline of the 3D body going towards something outside of yourself to seek, to attain, and to become. No. That's not how it works, okay? If that's sort of your understanding, then this reading is most likely probably not going to make sense, although it could still be a reading for sure, okay? Your purpose is to wake up. What does wake up mean? Be conscious, be present, be aware, be in this moment of reality as it is with a capital R, not your perception of what's happening through a lens of your trauma, subconscious judgments, beliefs, and identities and attachments. Okay, so what's your purpose? Your purpose is to become awake and conscious so that you can make decisions and choices in line with a purpose of love, compassion, and for the greatest good of all of God's children, including your own. When you're acting from the subconscious, you're kind of going through quicksand and living in an illusion of a world where you're projecting and people are projecting onto you and sort of doing no justice to yourself or to those around you. And so the purpose, your spiritual mission, is to wake up. Wake up, be conscious, okay? The universe is going to unfold as it does. You're not a separate I, separate from God. You are one with God. Okay, you're one with the Creator. This doesn't mean you are God. This means you are an extension of God. Just like the sun has a bunch of sun rays, the ray is one with God, although the ray is not the totality of the sun. Okay, so you're an extension of God. You contain all of that in which God has. Okay, although you are not God in the totality of God, but you are an extension, that of God, of the Creator. Okay, and so this means that we all are. This means that we all have already a spiritual mission of sorts. But if we are asleep to it, we're not seeing it, we're not connected to it, we're sort of living in a dream, walking around, thinking that we're, I don't know, fulfilling some form of purpose, but we're really living in the egoic world of the ego and the subconscious. So once you're awake and conscious and seeing yourself, maybe for the first time, as someone here who is one with the divine, where is the divine leading you to? What sort of mission are you here to fulfill? Okay, now this isn't, again, something you're going to go chase, pursue. When you get rid of what you're not your conditioning, you're not your beliefs, you're not the facade or the false self. Once you see through that illusion, you let go of those identifications. You no longer identify as that in which is not you. Your purpose will naturally come out. You don't need to seek it, attain it, or go down a path of it. Okay, that's a falsity. If we're seeking, chasing, and trying to attain, that, my friend, I assure you, isn't your purpose. Your purpose is going to come as it should come when it comes. So there's nothing to force. But the sooner you sort of wake up and are conscious and see through your egos, your illusions, your fantasy, the matrix world, the sooner you sort of connect to that purpose, that beautiful light. Okay, we're all serving a purpose and everyone's on their journey. So it's very open-ended. This doesn't have to have, quote unquote, a spiritual ring to it. A janitor a mechanic, a doctor, a salesperson, a tarot reader, whatever we are. Okay, we're serving a purpose here to all of God's children. But are we in the matrix, or are we awakened to the truest potential of the inner light within us? That's the question. So if we are connected to that light, connected to God consciousness, which is within everyone, then we are sort of lined up nicely to fulfill a purpose. Okay, we're not getting sidetracked and pulled into thinking we know more than the universe and God, trying to upkeep a false self, trying to upkeep sort of a story on the side out of fear and lack and ego. Okay, so this is what this reading's about. We're awake, we're conscious, we know we're not seeking, attaining, or going down some timeline of linear path to go find what it is that we think we're supposed to be doing. Okay, nobody is more special than anyone else. You're not special. Okay, and in that we're all special. So you're not and you are. Okay, but you're not separate from God. You're not separate from anyone else. This mission isn't your special mission apart from everyone else. This is your beautiful divine light and your purpose, which, by the way, is going to be unique to your expression through your connection with God. Okay, and a lot of people have a misnomer when they get rid of the ego. It's like, I don't have an identity and I go with that ego and we're all just sort of Autobots. No, not even true in the slightest. You can meet a lot of spiritual people that are self-realized that have very quirky different things about them. You know, you can be completely self-realized, completely awake, and be completely yourself. And we all have a different sort of expression note of God. It's like a fingerprint of God, okay? But we all contain the totality of God is like the sun, and we are all like the rays of the sun. And so we all contain God within us, okay? But we're not the totality of God, meaning we're not the full sun here, okay? And so meaning that we can create in the image of ourselves, just like God created us in the image of God. Okay, I know this is a lot of God talk, and if you don't like it, then see you later, alligator. You come into this world, my world, over here, okay, to understand what sort of reading I'm going to deliver here through my body, channeling what the divine is pulling through here. Okay, so this reading is all about your spiritual mission as it comes through an awakened self, a conscious self, to confirm to you with your intuition what it is that you're sort of aligned with. Okay, are we sort of in line with this, or are we still completely in the dark and in the fog about, getting close to what it is that our calling, our purpose is? All right, remember, our purpose is to love one another. Our purpose is to be kind. Our purpose is to be self-realized so that we can become loving, kind, compassionate to everyone and everything. That's your mission above everything else, okay? Anything else aside from that is ego. And so if we attach to anything else, we're trying to fulfill some egoic belief based on some transactional need for fulfillment, because we don't believe we're whole and complete, that we're not it already, that this present moment isn't everything we could ever want, that there's something better outside of this moment that's going to fulfill me, something better outside of this present moment. And that's not true. So we're looking to the future, or we're still dwelling in the past. And that means we're not here in the present moment. Okay, so present moment is all that exists. We're not trying to seek an external date far out in the future for a purpose, for some unique mission. That's not what this is about at all. At all. I don't want to upkeep or feed any illusions. Okay, anything outside of this present moment is an illusion. It doesn't exist. So we got to erase all of those illusions. Okay, you can believe what you want, but those are just beliefs. And so I don't want to feed into that delusion because it's not helping anyone. So I'm going to start with the cards we're using for this reading. These are the tarot cards we'll be using, the Archangel Power Tarot cards. And then for the oracle, and we'll be using the love oracle, and we'll also be using the spiritual or the mystical oracle. This the Enneagram oracle and the empath's oracle. Okay, I do feel I'm missing one here. Yeah, sorry, there's one here. And we'll also be using the keepers of the light. Okay, so I will pause this video, and this will be a pick a card. I'll see you shortly. Hello, let's pull the 3 options here. Okay, we're looking at what is your spiritual mission. Okay, I do suggest you go listen to the intro because I do not want to perpetuate anything here that might not be in line with the truth, capital T, or what the universe is intending for you. Okay, so 3 cards here for the pick a card in regards to the collective spiritual mission. Option number 2, option number 3. All right, so if at any point you're called to any one of these, you can select from the timestamp. Okay, and we will reveal these for those of you guys needing a little bit more to call you into, pull you towards whichever pile makes the most sense to you. So option number 1, we have Genesis pattern, planting the seed, number 11. Option number 2, we have card 45 with reflection, reflect upon life experience. Option number 3, we have joy, create joy and happiness with card number 42. Okay, so I'll leave this here, and then if you're called to multiple, that's fine. Okay, use your intuition to pull you towards whichever one feels right, and I will see you at your pick. Hello, pile number 1. You guys pick card 11 with the Genesis pattern, planting the seed. I do highly suggest you go listen to the intro, okay? What's your spiritual mission? To love one another. Be compassionate, be kind, be giving, self-realize, awake to your own world, your own illusions, your own traumas, your own shadow, your own subconscious, acting out of fears, acting out of assumption, acting out of judgments. Do this, and then you'll be awake to what's in front of you and your divine ability to your greatest purpose of what the divine wants you to see. Okay, so let's take a look. Now, if you feel called to sit through this card layout, to tap into your intuition, then I do highly suggest this. But if you do want to go straight away to the channeled message to listen to your spiritual mission, then I will put a timestamp below. Okay, beautiful angel. 11 is a very spiritual number. Okay, so 11 is all about divine inspiration. It's about synchronicities and the encouragement to keep going. So I do feel a lot of you guys are we're all highly spiritual, but are highly at the point here of potential of seeing something different than maybe your usual through dreams, through numbers, through signs. Okay, and I do believe where you're sort of being guided towards is undoing any illusion so that you can start to see your purpose, which I do feel is going to be an inspiration of sorts to others. Okay, beautiful. So yeah, even planting the seed here, I feel like this is early stages of awakening, if you will. Okay, Let's take a look. We have 10, protection for the vulnerable heart. Interesting, 10 and 11. So we have succession, beautiful heart, and we have star brothers, Horus energy, protection, loyalty, safety, and trust. And look at these two. I don't know if they're what sort of birds they are, but one's looking east, one's looking west. And then we have this guy facing forward. Okay, so it's kind of giving me like the medicine wheel, north, east, south, west. Horus energy, protection, loyalty, safety, and trust. Okay. We have all paths lead home. Interesting, because we were seeing the medicine wheel. All paths, inner authority, intuition, turn your gaze within. Beautiful. Love it. Yeah, look at this. Looking that way, looking that way, looking that way, looking that way. But where are we not looking? Within. Protection for the vulnerable heart. Okay. And then we have number 40, bonding with the rhythm of life. Beautiful. And we have books. You connect to your life purpose through your involvement with books. So books could certainly be just knowledge, information, broadening our mind. Okay. And then we have energy healing. Your natural energy healing abilities are an important part of your life purpose. Wow, look at all this blue. Blue is throat chakra, self-expression. So are we communicating through whatever means, through whatever channel, what we've understood? And look at her beautiful green, which is really giving me heart chakra, love, unconditional love, beautiful emerald green. Ooh, I would love this energy, you guys. And we have the 3 of Raphael. Reasons to celebrate, a community of friends, happy announcements regarding relationships or children. So this is 3 cups. Network of people. Look at this ship in the background. So this definitely could be signifying some form of travel. So whether it's going to be a literal travel in another location through gathering of information, traveling experience, or this could be talking about the journey here, the journey of enlightenment, the journey of whatever this pilgrimage is of internal exploration. We see mermaids. Okay, and by the way, I added to the decks. I didn't call out this deck. I changed the tarot. We're not using this one for the tarot anymore. We're using Rachel Pollack's tarot. Okay, this one here. And I also added these oracles. I know I added it after because I was called to pull them. So let's see, what is this? Black tourmaline. So what's this black tourmaline about? It says grounding, protection, and detox. And look at this. Sorry, this one, protection. Okay, so it says an energetic bodyguard. Black tourmaline acts as a psychic shield, protecting you from destruction, negativity, and psychic attack. It is excellent at establishing boundaries and deflects unwanted mental energies. It is also used for grounding, stabilizing your foundation on earth, and making sure both feet are on the ground. With a natural electric spark, black tourmaline absorbs fears and transmute those emotions into positive energy. Use the stone to balance your root chakra and detox any anxieties. We have Capricorn sun. So Capricorn is the sign under Saturn. Saturn could certainly talk about like having to make certain commitments, and it's through challenge that we finally see and understand through experience and dedication. And sometimes it could be having to sacrifice certain things or experience, like I said, challenges, till we finally can see the contrast here with the sun. So we might still be going through this whole thing. Let me put this right here. Okay, well, let's see. What is this spiritual mission? So we have the veil of ignorance, number 7, ego level, being carefree, gluttony of experiences, refusal of limits, instability, excessive joy. That's this 3 of Raphael, by the way. Realization and avoidance of suffering. Type 7, the enthusiast, thinking center between pleasure and pain. Lots of green here. Okay. And then we have 81, dark night of the soul. Totally feeling that from this energy. Stress level 81, loss of identity, internal restlessness, desire to escape, apathy, disorientation, internal conflicts, intense emotions. Type 9, the peacemaker, instinctive center between forgetting and asserting oneself. So we have 7 and 9, some Cancer, some Virgo. Okay. And then we have 68 with loneliness, initiatory ordeal, stress level, loneliness, entrepreneurial project, collaborative project. We see people here, a community of people to collaborate with, interdependency, physical challenge, social involvement, family responsibilities. Type 5, the observer, thinking center between interior and exterior. So number 5 is Taurus energy. It's also Sagittarius energy. Okay, so we have your path. Dear Lord, help me trust that there's a plan far beyond what I can see through my fears and illusions. Wow. Wow. That's very strong here. Okay, the acrobat. Let's take a look at the acrobat. It's walking a tightrope, walking the narrow path. Wow. Balance. I'm getting a lot of temperance energy coming now energetically. So temperance is Sagittarius, but that's all about healing. Okay, and then we have empathy. You feel and understand the emotions of another in the service of love. Wow. And we have Sanat Kumara, light activation. Shine your light. Your internal guidance is coming through loud and clear. And finally, we have tempered love, 106, healthy love, growth level, love including others, empathetic love, realistic love, cool love, committed love, love in the present. Type 7, enthusiast, thinking center between pleasure and pain. Okay, gorgeous. So I'm going to sit here with this energy, then I'm going to channel, okay? I don't feel that one. It's not feeling it. Pile number 1, beautiful, gorgeous angels. This energy that I'm reading through here, like the messaging is very clear, okay? Although the title of this was in regards to your spiritual mission. And so there isn't like a final destination. I hope we all know in spirituality, there's just journeying, okay? There's journeying, 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 and forever journeying. And why? Because nothing's set in stone. And so this is giving me a snapshot of your spiritual mission. And you might be going through some of this right now, or I might give you some insight as to where it's going. Maybe this will confirm some of what you're experiencing and maybe revitalize you or give you some form of structure that the mind likes to have when it feels completely upside down. You're going through a spiritual awakening of sorts. I don't know what you want to call it. Kundalini, okay, which is different than a spiritual awakening, by the way, but we don't need to label anything because words don't really explain energy, okay? But when we go through this, we go through what's called a dark night of the soul. And this is shedding who we're not, okay? This isn't about seeking some external version of yourself. This is all about, as my email goes off, shedding what we're not, stripping it off like layers constantly. We're not this, we're not that, okay? And through the journey of trying to seek what we can be and what feels right and all of this, throughout that journey, we're shedding. And we finally realize that we don't need to seek because we are already that in which we were seeking. So I feel like you're still on a journey of figuring this all out, okay? And so this doesn't mean stop seeking because you're already there, even though this does mean stop seeking. You're already there because you are already there. There's just this present moment. Nothing exists outside of this present moment. Okay, but until you connect to that, we're still in the mind and we're still trying to understand, because that's what the mind likes to do. That's what we like to do as humans in the body, okay? But when we connect to our spirituality, we know that we're not the body. And we know that we're the divine, okay? That we're connected to the divine, that we have divine essence and we are pure consciousness. And so there's a single point of consciousness and we are sort of the body that's attached to that, engaged in the world, okay? And so this journey that you're on right now, you're going to be wanting to seek answers. And you'll learn a lot for sure, intellectually. But does this make you more spiritual? No. None of anything that you're going to be attaining is making you more spiritual. But the mind likes to feel comfort, and the mind likes to construct things in a way so that it doesn't feel completely upside down and completely in the dark and just make sense of stuff. Because it could be very disorientating when we go through something like this. What are you going through? You're going through peeling back what you're not. And this comes with a lot of confusion, questions, suffering, happiness, ups, downs, lefts, rights. And throughout this process, you're aligning with your soul tribe. Your purpose here is going to be, once you awaken, you have an ability to heal others through whatever this talent gift will be. Because again, there's a lot of people here and we're not all exactly the same. Your ability will be to heal others through your story, through your words, through your actions. But you're sort of getting there. Okay, because I feel like before getting there, you're sort of lost. Okay, as we all are. And I think you're looking everywhere for answers. And it could be spiritual answers, trying to seek. Maybe it's here. Maybe I'll finally get enlightenment, or I'll finally know what it is when I look there. But if I finally understand this concept, then I'll be more ascended. Then I'll be more realized. Then I'll know this. No. Spirit's really talking about you going inwards and self-reflect and observe your own self. And be in the present moment of what's unfolding. Then you'll get closer to your purpose, because reality is happening right here. And we would only ever go seeking externally in other places when we're not happy with reality, when we're not happy with the present moment, because we think that our happiness and our spirituality and our fulfillment is in another moment, in another place and time. And so we're forever placing ourselves outside of our current here and now, and we'll forever be chasing. But when we go inwards and we see that we're all complete, whole, divine beings underneath all of what we're not, then we can sit in complete peace and be sort of more connected to ourself in a way here that allows our purest self to let those healing energies work its magic, because it's just going to come naturally. There's nothing to do. Like, you're not going to make it so. You're not going to understand a concept and then go and, create healing. It's like through your self-realization, you're now a healing energy to people around you. Okay, and so I do feel it's through words, though, I gotta say. Okay, there's like your story, your way of communicating, your way of delivering, your way, your example, your experience. This is what's healing to others. And I do feel you're going to align with a huge community. But I feel like there's still a lot of belief in separation, and there's still a lot of attachment to illusion. And there's still thinking we're separate from the divine. There's still need to ground yourself. They're still living in the matrix. They're still feeding into things that are getting in the way, if you want, of our self-realization and connecting to the divine self, and keeping us clouded and keeping us sort of in matrix with double thought, illusions and fears and ego. And so we don't have to do anything, but if we want to get closer to the essence of who we are and get to this beautiful healing energy of ours, to be able to let it out, we have to undo what we're not. So you're protected throughout this journey, even though sometimes we might feel alone, or we might feel upside down, or we might feel like the external world could threaten us in some way. Going through dark night of the soul, sometimes we could second guess and doubt. Okay, but doubt is just an illusion of the mind. There is no need for doubt, because when we connect to that which is within us, which is the essence of God, an extension of God, we wouldn't question. We wouldn't question a creator that has created us in a perfect form of that of the creator. Why would there be anything missing or lacking? There isn't. It's just the mind. Okay, the mind, the ego mind creates these stories, and that's just the absence of the divine in the mind. It's the shadow we create. Okay, so our job is to bring the light of awareness into those shadowy thoughts, so we see that they're illusions. There is no doubt. There is no devil. There's no psychic attacks happening to me. There is just me in my beautiful light, shining the light on everything that's not me within me. So when I feel disorientated, when I feel confused, when I feel lack, I know, and I connect to the divine being within me, and I bring that light towards those doubts, illusions, and fears, need for control, and I feel peace and I feel whole. And as I become more in the flow of this, I then integrate into society as a light being that's connected to my light and to the divine, delivering messages of healing and love and light, and creating ripples in this world of beautiful energy, of self-realization, love that's balanced, that's healed. Okay, so your light is what's going to be healing the world. Your ability to be in your authentic self. You're going to free yourself, and then as you free yourself, others are freed. There is nothing you're doing. The divine is doing it through you. The only thing that we can do, if we're doing anything, is believe we're on some form of linear journey of sorts. And throughout that period, shed and really, really be curious. You have to really be curious. What am I not? Why am I doing what I'm doing? How am I engaged? It's all about self-inquiry. It's not external. It's not about what other people are doing or how I can attain or achieve or seek or find or become a better version of me. No, none of that. It's all about observing, sitting with self, okay, with the eyes of the observer, which has zero judgment, isn't adding to anything with the mental narration of anything, just observing and seeing through illusions of thought. Because when we see through the illusion of the thought, we see how ridiculous some of these thoughts could be, and some of these beliefs that we've been carrying around that have been limiting us, that we truly believed we were all these things. And we're none of those things. We have to uncover this on our own and be curious and be passionate and really be fired up for God, for this divine light. Otherwise, we're just sort of wandering the earth, partying, sleeping, watching TV, eating crackers, doing whatever, and that's fine. Then that's our journey. And so we got to be hungry. And some people are on this journey and they're just called. And you're one that's just called. You're on this journey, you're called, which could be very confusing. It's like I used to be one way, and now I feel like I'm sort of out of control. It's not within my control. And Spirit's saying, no one has control. People who think they have control are under an illusion of a separate self, a little eye doing something, but they're really in the matrix, and you're being awakened so that you can see that there's only one way, your path, one way, and that is towards your authentic self, which is closer to the divine. And when you get there, you're already there. When you shed what you're not in this present moment, which, by the way, you're already whole, you're already connected to God, you're already complete. But once you see it, so really the challenge is seeing it and realizing it, you know, it's not becoming seeking the truth and understanding it through knowledge and attainment. It's seeing what's not true. And when we see what's not true, the truth comes out. And that's the path you're on. And when we finally see the truth, we have no choice but to feel for all of God's children through the heart space, because you're connecting with your heart chakra. Understanding of others that are suffering, being of service to others, giving love and light, because you see clearly. And so your spiritual mission here is all about compassion, love, being of service, healing light. Okay, but we can't sort of get there until we're sort of self-realized in a way here that we could see your own light. And that's what you're figuring out and sorting through. And so this might feel at times very lonely. And we might want to find that community or get there already, or, you know, and we might have to uncover a lot of rocks on our journey and then realize that throughout that journey of trying to uncover, we were actually already whole. But we finally realize that throughout that journey, it comes, you know. It's not we see it along the way, but because of it, we sort of find ourselves, if that makes sense. So this is all from within. This isn't something that you're going to be, you know, seeking anywhere else. And I do feel like you're going to be bringing in a very solid community of people, however you do it. And once you're sort of in that energy of love and light and of service to others, there's a lot of people that come towards you through a community. And this could be online, this could be clients, this could be overseas, because I do see some travel here. This is just you being in the present moment of what is. Okay, and bonding with the rhythm of life is really you not being pegged to one sort of idea or story of what it has to be. You're able to flow with what is in the present moment. Okay, so you have a beautiful heart, and I love it. Let's ask the tarot for whatever more you need to know. Okay, now this journey might seem like it goes on and on forever with this Capricorn energy, but you're on a journey of enlightenment. That's what you're on, okay? And we're not just using spiritual terms. Oh, enlightenment, you're going to become this Buddha. It's like, what is enlightenment? Self-awakening. You're awakening to your true essence of who you are. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. And you just got to get rid of all those stories, fears, and beliefs of what we're not. Let's see through it. Okay, so let's see. Spirit, what's the final message here for Pawan in regards to their spiritual mission here? The spiritual mission of connecting to your inner light. That's your path. Direct path to inner self. Okay, so we don't find it in a book. When we finally have the right meditation or the right practice or the right crystal, that's not how it comes. So we have the knower of stones. And we have the 5 of stones in reverse. And we have a 5 with tradition. This is the Hierophant energy. And stones are the Pentacle energy. And I do believe the knower is the Knight of Pentacles. And we have strength in reverse. That's the shedding of an ego. Self. The tradition is the Hierophant, like I said. And then we have the speaker of birds. And I believe birds are swords. And look at speaker. Remember I said there's something about what you communicate? Speaker of birds in reverse. Okay, and why is this? I'm going to leave those. Oh my goodness, my cards just barfed all over the place. And what did I say about shedding what it's not? All the cards that not fell on the floor. We have the Five of Rivers. This is the Five of Cups. And we have the Seven of Rivers, 7 cups. Okay, I'm not even going to pick those up. But what I am going to do is pick, this is a very interesting reading. Talk about going with the flow. Speaker again, you guys. Wow, stones. Queen of Swords in reverse and the Queen of Pentacles. Now, this is a new deck, and I'm not 100% certain if the speaker is the queen, but that's how I'm going to read it. Okay, and that stones are, yeah, pentacles. Okay, rivers or cups. So what is this talking about? This is exactly what we just picked up. We're coming out of a scarcity mindset, a lack mindset that we're separate from the divine, that out there is a separate world. Okay, we're on a journey of oneness, unity consciousness, not just fancy words, but actually inner feeling and understanding this. It comes through a journey of self-realization that we're not a separate self and we're not an ego. You're shedding ego. Okay, this is what you're doing. You might not see or understand at all times. Where are you headed? What's going on? But what you are being assured here of from the divine is that you're being set up here to be self-sustaining, financially, physically, in the 3D world with this Queen of Pentacle energy. You're not going to need anyone or anything. You're capable and you're going to be financially stable and set. And I do feel with speaker is through some form of you're going to be able to communicate something using your voice, I do feel. Okay, so it could definitely be something like seminars through whatever, healing people through spiritual teachings, or maybe it's just through the word of your own experience. It doesn't have to necessarily be talking about, the divine. It could certainly be talking about addictions, talking about abuse, talking about, I don't know, counseling, whatever the word though here. And some of you guys, it could be writing, but I do feel like it's through word, and this will financially set you up. But I feel like Spirit is really talking about you understanding whatever it is right now that's going on in your world that is being turned upside down, for you to be questioning what's not real. Okay, because it's your perception of stuff in regards to Hierophant, which is our conditions, our programs, our beliefs of things that are just sort of fed to us, and seeing through any illusions here will bring us out of scarcity. So I feel like we're experiencing a lot of confusion. We're experiencing a maze of the intuition. We feel sad. We might be mourning the 3D self, the past version of who we might have used to be, like it was a real thing and it's really dying off, and like we're still heavy in the illusion here is what I'm seeing. Okay, and we are on the journey, obviously, and we're all spiritual, but until we finally see through the ego and see through the illusion that we're not the separate self, there isn't us and then the divine, or some disembodied voice in the cloud that's telling us bad, 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 you sin, you shame. It's like, no, we are love and light. We are love because God is love, and I'm an extension of God. And so therefore, anything that's shadow, anything that's lack, anything that's under illusion, and anything that creates this darkness is not of God, and it is just an illusion. Therefore, I must be all love. Therefore, the truth is in light. And so let me bring this truth, this light, into all aspects of myself so I could become this beacon of light, self-realized, and activate this beautiful light to the world and show love, okay, to everyone and everything. And love, that's your language. So this means you're going to be self-realized through love, through the heart space of love, showing empathetic love, cool love, committed love. You'll find love in everything you do. And I do feel like there's a lot of emphasis here on Hierophant, which is coming up as tradition, because I do feel like whatever is healthy about community, whatever is healthy about love when it comes to community and people and tradition, I feel this is what you're bringing into that, because I'm seeing a lot of community sorry, where was it? Collaborative projects, interdependence, entrepreneurial project. Like there's a lot of involvement in community with people, but I feel like we're not just sort of going into, I don't know, like blindly engaging with people here, and we're sort of still in subconscious and we're still sort of acting out of ego. But we can't create this community of people, or this community isn't formed so much, or soul tribe, or whatever we're aligning with, until we shed the ego part. And I feel like right now you might at times feel, like you still got to find your courage. You're still trying to seek, like you're still in the seeking mode, and there's nothing wrong with it, but it is suffering, because as long as you're seeking and you're still not feeling whole, and you're still not feeling strong, and you still feel like there's more knowledge out there, and there's still something you need to uncover, understand, you're still in the sleepy mode of thinking that there's something outside of you that's going to bring you the peace and the happiness. It's like, no, I am the peace and the happiness here. That's not something that's going to stumble across. So I don't need to feel weak. I don't need to feel alone. I don't need to feel incapable. I don't need to feel less than, that's when you finally see that. It's like you're out of this scarcity mindset, this lack mindset. You're no longer mourning on, oh no, like this used to be a thing. It's like, no, it still is a thing. Everything's a thing. Everything's happening right here, right now. There's no lack. There's nothing that's outside of this present moment. So anything that we could think of that used to be in this present moment, anything we think that used to be is an illusion, because the past is an illusion. It's just in our mind. That's where the past lives, in the mind. That's not real. Same with the future. Okay. And so are we mourning over an illusion? Are we mourning over something that's not real? Yes. And that's fine. We can mourn it until we finally see through that illusion. It's like I'm crying over an illusion. It's not even real. What's real here is love. What's real here is the light of God. What's real here is that that's within me. What's real here is I'm finally self-realizing I could be this light. Okay. So that's what you're doing. And I do feel it does. You do find something like in this 3D world that pays your bills, because you're going to be self-to-do here as this beautiful Queen of Pentacles. Okay. So we got Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn, Taurus, sorry, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. And, and a lot of options, with the 7 cups. But I do feel this is the confusion of maybe I'm going down the wrong path, or maybe my intuition isn't really guiding me, or that's the doubt I was talking about. Maybe this isn't an awakening. Maybe I'm going down this way and I got to go down that way. Do I got to make different choices? Am I being the highest version of me? Am I don't know, more spiritual? Am I more healthy? Am I doing no, all of that is actually still mind story. We're still in that, trying to navigate through this like it's real. And the Spirit's saying, no, it's not real. Just yourself. Your purest self doesn't need any narration, doesn't need any guidance, doesn't come from a book, doesn't come from a YouTube video, doesn't come from a tarot reader, doesn't come from anyone or anything. Once you connect to it, you'll see it. You'll know it. You'll see it. Okay? You'll be connected to it. That's from within. But you got to look within, because we're still looking under every rock, not knowing that it's been with us always, looking at the rock, looking at the next rock, instead of we turn and we say, oh, you were actually here all along. Funny me, So beautiful joy, beautiful abundance, beautiful love, 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 and light. Okay, that's where you're sort of headed. But we're navigating through this murky water. Okay, I love you so much. You do find your way, and you are heavily protected by the divine. Okay, I will see you at the next one. Bye-bye. Hello, gorgeous angels. Pile number 2, you picked card 45 with reflection, reflect upon life experience. So I do suggest you go listen to the channel message at the beginning, because your spiritual purpose or your spiritual mission is to love everyone, yourself, your neighbor, compassion. Okay, that's your first priority here. And waking up with self-realization of who you are, your divine nature. Okay, as long as you're sort of wandering the maze of what you're not, you will forever be wandering the maze of what you're not. So top mission priority is wake up to see your divinity and have compassion for all of God's brothers and sisters and creations, okay, including yourself. And if you can't connect to it within self, you won't be able to extend it to anyone or anything outside of yourself. Okay, so I'm seeing a maze here. If you want to go straight away to your channel message, I will put a timestamp below, okay? But the best way to tap into your intuition is to sit through this card layout, which I'll do shortly. But I am seeing a maze here. A maze of the mind. Okay, this is saying reflection, reflect upon life experience. Let's take a look. What's going on here, Spirit? We have 28. Embrace your divine right to heal, or the number 10. 28 or, 28 or the number 10. Embrace your divine right to heal. Okay. Big picture thinking. Pleiades energy. Am I saying that right? Pleiades energy. Visionary inspired ideas. Wow, I got complete brain fog. Look at this. An archway. This is beautiful. I love these cards. I rarely ever use them. Big picture thinking. Nice soft colors coming through with the pastels. Look at this more. For shielding, protecting, and grounding. Wow. Beautiful. And by the way, I said we were using these tarot cards, but we're actually using these. And these are the Rachel Pollack Shining Tribe Tarot. Okay, in case you're wondering, because I switched it. And I also added the Crystal Oracle to this, in case you're wondering where that came from. So we have 6 of Gabriel. Congratulations. You've done a wonderful job. Time to move on to the next project. Awards, scholarships, promotions. This is 6 wands. Okay, 6 wands could represent ego, but it does represent that we've been on some path and we've been putting a lot of our energy and our efforts. Okay, like really focused on some path. And so you're being acknowledged for your hard work here. Are we on the path of authenticity? I see a white horse. Are we getting closer to freedom? Potentially. Let's see. You have been divinely guided here for sure. Wow. Okay. We have support. Your life purpose fully supports you. I'm seeing that. You're navigating right now. And you're being supported as you navigate. Are you being guided or are you being supported as you wander this maze? I think you're still maybe wandering a maze for a purpose. But I don't know that you're being guided so much as to a direction just yet. I don't know. Let's see. So we have 33, quest for answers, ego level, stability, legitimacy of authority, security concept, self-confidence, loyalty concept, mental calming, finding support. Number 6, type 6, the loyalist, thinking center between mistrust and trust. Okay, beautiful Jesus energy. And we have 108, return to the world, growth level, peacemaking, ecological initiatives, discussion circles, peace programs, spiritual retreats, meditation projects, psychological support. Type 9, this peacemaker, instinctive center between forgetting and asserting oneself. Number 9. Wow. 9 is hermit energy and moon. And so we could still be sort of navigating with the moon present, but Virgo with the hermit, that's all about self-reflection. 6 is lovers and devil. We have Capricorn and Gemini energy here, both present. Let's see. 17, inner call, ego level, vulnerability, sensitivity versus power, compassion, justice, gentleness, emotions, depth, anger management. Number 8, type 8, the challenger, instinctive center between strength and weakness. Okay, we have right now, stay in the present and don't get too far ahead of the flow. You'll soon trust that nothing more will come than that can be handled in each moment. And we have this crystal right here. Looks like a piece of agate. Let's see. It says, yeah, agate. Stability, grounding, and truth. Wow. Shielding, grounding, protection. Stability. I love when there are synchronicities. Okay, so it says, a stabilizing stone, agate, is used to balance the mind, body, and spirit. creating harmony in all areas of your life, much like the patterns of the crystal itself, grounding and supportive. Agate helps to reveal inner truths, cleansing beneath the surface to express your authentic self, which is this white horse. Okay. A wonderful stone to heal resentments. Agate frees you from the self-imprisonment of inner anger, replacing it with safety and security. Agate takes its time, vibrating at a low and steady pace, and encourages you to take as much time as you need for the matter at hand. Gemini and Mercury. We're still healing something, aren't we? Yes, we are. That's fine. That's good. We have the Tinkerer. The Tinkerer. So this is really focused on something until we sort of get it right. We could be exploring. It says here traits: absent-minded, distracted, excitable, impatient, pensive, role. Okay, and well, that's part of the game. It says a cluttered workbench with a half-built device, a rack of strange tools, a sleeping cat undisturbed by a noisy machinery, an enormous drafting table covered with blueprints. If it can break, I can fix it. If it can break, I can fix it. You're healing something right now. Okay. Friendliness. You are able to recognize traits in common with another in order to forge love-based connections. And we have Lord Shiva. Beautiful. Transcendence. Rise up. Honor your inner force. Steps are being given. Dance with the universe. I love this. And we have 87, happy event, growth level, declaration of love, opening one's heart, feelings is revealed, romantic message, love words, expressing love, unveiling one's love. Type 6, the loyalist, thinking center between mistrust and trust. Okay. Okie dokie. Let me channel this. Okay, you can go straight away to the channeled message. Beautiful pile number 2. What is your spiritual mission here? Spiritually, this is all about self-healing and overcoming, and really finding an inner part of yourself that might have been shaked or rocked in some form, in some other lifetime, or potentially something that has been a little wobbly for you. Okay, there is a purpose here. Your purpose is to give love in full capacity. Okay, whether this be in a relationship or to a community or to another, however this comes out, because I do feel that's your purpose here. Okay, and when you do give this love, it's coming from a very strong place of being completely stable and balanced and connected to your emotions, from a place that's truthful, grounded, vulnerable, and spiritually connected to the divine. It's giving love from a heart space here. Okay, that's your purpose. Okay, now if you're looking for what pays your bills, it's not showing me what's going to pay your bills, because we're looking at spiritual purpose, spiritual mission here. You're transcending past hurts, pains, and I feel like you're making a lot of strides and movements towards building your confidence, because what I feel here is it's taking a lot of time and a lot of energy and a lot of conviction on your end to put yourself back together. Okay, back together. You've never been taken apart, but we feel like we've been taken apart. We are working on healing, trusting, and that within itself is already a lot of work. You're being protected, and you are completely being given free rein to figure this out, as long as it takes. Okay, Spirit's not going to figure it out for you. Spirit is saying, pile number 2, you're figuring out who you are. You're figuring out your confidence. You're figuring out the truth. You're figuring out how to love. You're figuring out who to be loyal to. You're figuring out how you can be supportive in the world, find peace, and provide it to others, other communities, other people through acts of service, engagement. Okay, so you're going to be really connected to communities, people. Okay, and I do feel is strong showing up here in a relationship that you're able to be of service, give love, and set an example to other people of how love should be engaged upon in this world. Okay, if we're hurt and if we're inauthentic, if we're challenged, then we're not setting examples. We're sort of feeding into the collective that's injured and hurt. And you coming out of this, being able to sort of put yourself back together, if you will, and find your inner confidence, your inner voice. Okay, this is an example here of the highest potential that you can achieve here through overcoming challenge and obstacle. This is very liberating. And I do feel like you might be very close to this already, even if you don't feel like you are, because I do feel like it's been a challenge and a struggle, and it's been very almost feeling like you're going through quicksand or sludge, hitting dead end after dead end. So this could be like dead end relationships, dead end, like, and I'm not necessarily just talking about intimate, it could just be not connected to people in a deep way, or like not connecting in intimate relationships, and just hitting dead ends and being either disappointed or discouraged or let down or betrayed or hurt even. Okay. And so there is this higher purpose, higher calling. Okay. And as you find your way through this sort of murky energy that I think you've been navigating for some time, because I do feel like you're finally at the verge here of connecting to this inner confidence and finding this, whatever, this love or this support. Okay. I'm seeing support almost everywhere here. And I'm feeling as though for you guys, you are energetically supported by the divine, as we all are. Okay. But I feel like very closely here, because I do feel like something's went off, went off, creating some sort of disruption in your world. And so the divine is very close to you. So you have extra guides I'm seeing here, but also you are being introduced to like an earth angel of sorts here. Okay. This is a very unique sort of energy that I'm feeling here. And it's coming in way of certain people. Okay. And I don't know if it just morphs in and out, different people sort of coming in at the right time that you're needing it, until you sort of stand on your own sea legs, so to speak, so that you're able to be that as well for other people consistently, because then you've sort of graduated to this beacon of what love and vulnerability and compassion and warmth and gentleness is for others in time of need, because you've found it yourself. But you're sort of finding it yourself. But I do feel like there's an energy coming in here through showing you a mirror of love, showing you compassion and grace, showing you your own sort of ability to tap into your own confidence. Okay. But I feel like you're on this journey of seeking what this looks like. Although seeking again is an endless act, because there is no need to search no further than where you are already, but we need to connect to it. And so you're connecting to it. And I think through trials and tribulations, what's working, what's not, what feels good, what doesn't, really connecting to that sort of experience here in the 3D world, opening yourself up and releasing what doesn't serve you or what's held you back or what's been hurting, and really opening yourself up to other people here. Okay. Because I do feel like the divine's coming in different forms. And I do feel through your experience over time, you develop into this solid being that's able to bring this type of energy to other people who might be where you were, or who are needing whatever it is you have to offer in way of love and way of compassion and service. Okay. Like people you can be loyal to, because I do feel like there's something to be said about being other people's support, being other people's grounding, sounding board, their ability to speak their truth and not pass judgment and provide stability. But we can't provide stability in other people's worlds when we're all off kilter. Okay. And so I feel like the strongest message here is about your confidence, about you being like a beacon of truth, liberation, freedom, providing stability in other people's worlds. Okay, being somebody that people can depend upon, being calming, mentally clear, and supportive, and transcending past this sort of lower state of, I don't know if you want to call it like egoic sort of matrixy illusions that we could fall in, the illusion of separation, the illusion of I'm alone, the illusion of nobody understands, the illusion of deep hurts here that are certainly felt, but that are really fueled by an illusion of understanding of something that isn't necessarily in line with reality and truth and acceptance. Okay, but once we see through this, then we're able to be mentally clear and able to provide guidance and able to support people on their way out of situations that might be very challenging for them. So I'm kind of always feeling you're kind of over here. I feel like there's something you're involved with right now, and it's just needing a little bit of tweaking. And I do feel like sometimes when we're working on something, okay, this could be working on a relationship, working on putting something together like a community, a platform. We already got all our information, but it's not coming together, or maybe we met someone, but we're not quite able to open up, and we're still sort of figuring this out. But I feel like you have the things, you're working with the things that you have right now to put it together in a right combination. And why I say right, it's right for you, because I do feel like there is this, you sorting through this and it finally clicking for you. Okay, it's going to click for you. And when it clicks for you, it's like, wow, now I see. And now I'm like holding my head high. I feel accomplished. I feel successful. I feel grounded. I feel in line with authenticity of what's truly me. And this frees you. And you feel very empowered. And I feel you feel, it's like you're an inspiration here to others. Other people are seeing you like, wow, like you were able to sort of pull yourself from whoever saw you before this experience, it's like, wow, Nancy over here was really in a rut or just sort of in this. And I mean, if they're judging you, they shouldn't judge you, but they're witnessing, they're observing, maybe a suffering, maybe you sort of being in one sort of way. And then it's like, wow, suddenly it's like Nancy like puts together a community here or a platform here and is like, look at her confidence and look at her ability to really provide help and all of this. Or now she's, engaged with a relationship that really honors and respects her. And it's like making her be a better person. And she's like very healing and soothing and providing a lot of support to the community and to other people here. And other connections are using this as sort of an example. So, I do see something with relationship. For some of you guys, it's one-on-one. Some of you guys, community. I do feel it is rising above pain and integrating the parts of ourself that might have been challenging and fragmented, and crystallizing this in a way that makes us feel whole, makes us feel complete, makes us feel solid, grounded, and protected, because we have the support from, like I said, earth angels. I don't know, this community, this idea, this thing you're creating. Okay. And this is going to build your confidence. It's like stepping stones. Once it clicks, I think then you sort of meet the people or build the thing. Or if the people click, then it's like, then they help you build the thing. And it's like, you keep building upon it. And there's no sort of going backwards. There's only going forwards from this thing. And I think you have a vision of what it could be right now, but I feel like it might feel pie in the sky or big hope, or it'll never come together, or like, we might have been really focused with the what's going on that's not working. And we might be comparing it to the past of what didn't work. And so I think the more we compare it to the past, this didn't work, that didn't work, this fell apart, we're sort of hesitant. And when we're projecting, it can't be this, it might never be that, I'll never be good enough, this will never happen, then we're living in the future. And so your guidance is coming through as this right now, present moment. Because I think when you connect to the present moment of what you have in front of you, with gratitude, with humility, with trust, a vulnerability, honesty, truth, gentleness, and a depth of emotion here, revealing our truest feelings, being open, declaring what is truthful to us, allows us to put something together here that allows things to flow. Okay, I know this was a weird one, but this is exactly as this message is coming through. But if we don't have a true reflection of the truth and we're sort of projecting what could be, we don't get there. And so I think what Spirit's really talking about is when we look at the past, what didn't work, we're still sort of feeling the hurts and we're living in that world, which we cannot do. I mean, we can, but we don't want to live in suffering. And when we reflect, projecting into a future that's going to look unsuccessful or weak because I'm lacking some form of confidence or I'm not in seeing myself in the greatest light, then we're sort of imagining a version of us that doesn't exist. We're missing the present moment. Okay, so the present moment's calling for you to say, hey, you have everything in front of you right now. It's going to build upon itself. We have to be honest with the truths of what we have here, which would require us to be open, truthful, vulnerable, and deal with any instability in regards to our emotions. Because I do feel like there's an instability of emotions here that are still needing to heal, and that's fine. But we need to really work with this, not avoid it and not fall back in mind story of a lack of confidence in our ability to do this. And I think support comes to help you do this, because I don't think you're alone in this. I think you do have a network right now and it's coming through. But if we're too wallowy in what's not there, that we don't have or what could go wrong, we're not seeing the support that's here. And so Spirit keeps saying there's support here, there's support here. It's always been here. I don't know how long you've had the support. And like I said, for a lot of you guys, it's a solid person. And sometimes we have people coming in when we need them exactly. And it's like, take note of them. Don't be wallowing too much on what you think needs to show up. Divine knows who you need and when you need it. And it might come in a different form that you're not even aware. So we got to be in the present moment to say, this is what the divine's sending in for me. This is who the divine's sending in for me. Why? Because there's something here that I'm putting together that's going to help me in order to build me so I can stand strong, confident, and find it through until I graduate and transcend past this pain or past this level. And now I can honor myself, because I think the biggest thing here is honoring yourself and being in line with the universe exactly as it is, not trying to change it to be something else based on hurts and pain. Okay, so beautiful angels, if you want to get an agate stone, I do suggest you get a piece of agate. There's beautiful antique jewelry that is made of agate. Usually it's from the late the 1890s? Yeah, to the 1900s. I know that's antique and that's old. And you guys are like, I'm not going to get that. But if you get a piece of jewelry, it's beautiful because they use different pieces of agate, Anyway, I think it's beautiful. And I do feel you're going to be very grounded, very secure. You're not going to be, feeling wobbly and feeling like you can't trust it. Because right now it's like, do I trust myself? Can I trust people? Not feeling grounded, feeling sort of none of those things. You put it together, but because you put it together, you trust it. It's not like you're handing it over and someone else is putting it together. You put it together, so you trust what you build. Okay, and like the divine said, take as long as you need. Take as long as you need, because if you're building something, you're going to have to trust, like an airplane, right? You want to make sure it's right. You're not going to put it together haphazardly. So it's like, take your time, put all the pieces where they need to go. You're supported. But we have to be honest and we have to communicate and we have to be vulnerable, but we're putting it together. We can't shy away from this and project. Okay. So this is your reading, pile number 2. I hope this helped you. All right. Bye-bye. Pile number 2. I forgot your tarot. And I think we should get a little sneaky peek. A sneaky peek for pile number 2. Okay. Although I do feel your reading was complete. What does pile 2 need to know in regards to their spiritual mission or this reading? Did I miss anything? What questions do they have? What do they need to know right here, right now, Spirit? Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of pile 2 in regards to, wow, these cards are so slippy, in regards to their spiritual mission. Pile number 2, what do you need to know right here, right now regarding your spiritual mission? We have the Ace of Stones. This is the Ace of Pentacles and the Six of Birds, 6 swords in reverse. Ace of Pentacles in reverse. And we have the 4 Pentacles in reverse. And we have the Magician, Virgo, Gemini. Why is this Ace of Pentacles in reverse, Spirit? We have the Moon, Cancer, Pisces energy. Why is this four of Pentacles here? We have the Devil, Capricorn energy, Virgo, Gemini energy. And we have the Ace of Trees, which is the Ace of Wands. And here we have the Gift of Birds. And I do believe the gift is the Queen because the speaker is the King, which I kind of read wrong for pile 1, but it was fittingly over there. But anyway, Queen of Swords in reverse. Ace of Wands. What's going on here? Give me a second to tap into this, okay? Yeah. So this reflects the tarot. We're still navigating through moonlight. That was the maze, the first thing I saw. You're navigating. You're hitting dead ends, okay? There's still some fears, subconscious. We still don't see, and we're still pulled by this unknowing. This is okay. Spirit wants you to go through the unknowing because when you go through the maze of the unknowing, you have to find the knowing. It can't be handed to you because then you don't really inner experience and understand it and find it on your own. But when you go through it on your own, you know, like you know, because you've been through it. This is why you're sort of navigating your intuition and your subconscious and understanding your fears. I feel there are some fears here, okay? Fears in connecting to the truth of your essence. And so I feel like you still might feel just sort of like you don't have answers and you're still sort of navigating, and that's fine, okay? So you feel stuck. And Spirit is saying, as long as you're navigating here, feeling stuck, still figuring out your way, this new opportunity of something that could be solid here is sort of on the back burner. The Spirit's not going to give you any new opportunity of anything at all until we sort of navigate and figure our way out of this maze. Okay, I feel like we're still just healing, navigating through 5 swords type situations. Okay, where things aren't quite aligned. We might still be sabotaging. People around us are still sabotaging. We might still be not knowing how to read our intuition, how to speak up when we need to, because there's still some fears, or maybe we're still acting out of subconscious. Like there's still this stuff going on. And so people around us might be still wanting to argue. We might still be trying to prove our point and still sort of in shadow and ego. So the opportunity is here. It's still here. It doesn't go anywhere. You're going to be called. It's going to be born at one point or in another, okay? And I feel, like I said, where I was seeing your energy sort of over here, because I felt like you were, like in the last spread I did, I feel like you are already with everything you sort of need. You're just sort of putting the pieces together. You're being called to birth something, and I think you already know what it is, okay? It's like you have the pieces, or you have an understanding of some direction you're supposed to go, okay, with that creative project, or that person, or that place, that relationship, whatever the thing is. It's calling to you, okay? But I feel like what Spirit's really talking about here is you have to let go. Once you figure out the maze, there's a letting go, okay? But there's scarcity. When we have scarcity, we're hanging on. We don't want to let go of the world we know because there's lots of fear. I don't fear to trust where I'm being led. I fear to trust where I'm being led. I can't quite let go of what I have here because then what's going to happen? What's going to happen if I let go of this little bit that I have? And Spirit's saying, once you realize and trust the divine, that you're not letting go and losing out, that there is no lack, you let go and you surrender. And once you surrender and let go, then you start to manifest. And when you manifest, then the seed comes in because it's your purpose, it's your calling already. It's there. Okay, you're being called to do this, but you have to connect to it. You're being already called and inspired. And I think you're seeing dreams, signs, symbols, synchronicities. You're being called to act in line with this so you can manifest. Okay, but I feel like we're having to identify the devil, which is certain parts of our way of being that keeps us feeling stuck, bound to certain people, places, things, the way it is, what we're comfortable with, our comfort zone. This is what I'm connecting to, because if I let go, then this might happen, that might happen, and we project. Okay, so we have to identify, but I feel like really Spirit's talking about you're being called really passionately towards something, for sure. It's a potential, and it's not going to realize until you sort of make it to a certain point. You're being called to get to a certain point. You're not being rushed. You're just being called to work through the maze, take as long as you need, because through walking through the maze of confusion, through experiencing disappointment, challenging situations, identifying fears, knowing where we're our worst enemy, and we have bad patterns. When we identify all this, then we can see through it. Then we can do something about it. Then we make a conscious choice to let go of the devil, to make decisions that don't keep feeding those illusions, and say, yes, I want something different. I want a new beginning. I want to manifest this, and I'm going to stop at nothing because I'm passionately pulled towards that direction. And in order to get this, I must let go of what I'm hanging on to. That's not working for me. It hasn't been. It's kept me stuck. It kept me in fear. It kept me in darkness. It kept me in shadow. I was acting out of fear, subconscious, and triggers and unhealthy patterns. Okay, not because you wanted to be suffering, but that was what you were experiencing because that was part of your path. But no longer. You're being called to let go of this so you can move forward. Okay? And you're being gifted with something new. A zest of life here. You're going to birth something new, but I don't think you see or understand this just yet. Okay? It has to come organically, and it has to come through your inner experience of understanding. It's not going to fall from the sky. Okay? But I think in the meantime, you sort of keep manifesting situations that aren't going to be the greatest here, but that's part of your journey. And so you have to come to this conclusion. And so listen to where you're being called and pulled, because I think there's a strong passion towards this. And it's like, why aren't I aligned with this? Where am I maybe not being honest? Where is there fear? What am I still hanging on to? What sort of belief systems am I pretending here in my world that I need to upkeep that are getting in the way of this manifestation? Am I being completely honest with my emotions and my feelings and my healing and my process? If I am, then trust the divine will lead you there. If you're not, then it's like, well, what can I do about it? Why am I feeling stuck here? All right. So trust the divine. Beautiful angel. Now I'm done. Thank you so much. I'll see you at the next one. Bye-bye. Hello, gorgeous angels. Pile number 3, card 42 with joy. Create happiness and joy. What is your spiritual mission? Your spiritual mission is to awaken to your essence. Okay. To become self-realized, to be able to see yourself so that you're able to make decisions in line with love and compassion and engage with everyone and everything with the highest vibration of love. Okay, not through any sort of spiritual bypassing, not through anything other than being completely aware of your divine nature and that you have choices to choose love or choices to choose fear. And so you can always choose to align with love. Okay. And that's always within your hands. Choosing joy, choosing happiness, choosing love. So what are we looking at? We're looking at your spiritual mission. That is the only takeaway message really at the end of the day that you need to know. Okay. But we'll look at what Spirit wants to deliver to you aside from that. And I do ask you to use your intuition, which you'll see, feel, or hear to determine whether this is your pile or not. And the best way to do that is to sit through this card layout, which I'll do. But if you want to go straight away to your message, you can click on the timestamp. Okay, so we have joy, create joy and happiness. Beautiful. I love it. Create joy and happiness. Sure. And we have 39. Honor thy worth. Wow. Number 12, honor thy worth. Okay. And then we have cultivating ease and grace, number 5. So if we got to honor thy worth and we cultivate ease and grace, is there something that's sort of generating from within us? Are we being asked to do something here? Let's see. We have trust the timing. Trust the wave you came on. Time is not running out. Wow, I just got goosebumps. Someone here think it was too late for something, maybe. It's not too late. It's not too late. Time is an illusion here. Trust the timing. And I do feel like you were being guided someplace for this group. And maybe nothing's showed up here. It looks kind of barren, you know? This kind of looks really like, I don't know if that's supposed to be water or sand, but it's reminding me of like a really cold day here in Winnipeg when it's like really windy and there's like light dusting of snow everywhere. And it's kind of desolate, you know? It's like you see the snow sort of just dancing on the pavement, and it just feels very cold. Maybe you're feeling kind of alone here. Let's see. Okay, we have lost lands, soul memories and gifts. You've done this before. You've done this before. Wow. So something very familiar to you, to your soul. What is your spiritual mission? Something familiar to your soul. 10, seeking healing water. Wow. Seeking healing water. And we have writing. You heal, inspire, teach, and entertain with the words you write. Wow, pile number 1 was a lot of that sort of energy as well. Look at that. The divine is guiding this person as they write. Beautiful. And so we have the Queen of Michael. By the way, I said I was using these tarot cards, but I switched them. Okay, I'm just pulled one for each pile, but I'm using the tarot of Rachel Pollack, okay, for this, in case you're wondering why I switched it. And I also added an extra oracle card here that I didn't show at the beginning, which are these crystals. So it's being called to do that as well, okay? So Queen of Michael, it says, brilliant, self-reliant, and insightful, humorous. You know exactly what to do. Oh, sorry, you know. I said you knew. Interesting. You've done this before. You knew. You know exactly what to do. The benefit of experience. A time for your career rather than relationships. This is the Queen of Swords. Queen of Swords energy. Okay. And we have 50, purification path, ego level, sharing knowledge, contributing to the world, welcoming emotions, committing, listening to feelings, daring to be a leader, incarnating your body. Type 5, the observer, thinking center between interior and exterior. Wow. Number 5. Number 5 here as well. 5 is a master number. Change is the only constant. Divinely orchestrated change. Something's changing here. So you guys, 55, we just finished talking about it. 5, 5, 5, 5. So 4 5s. This could be an angel number for you guys. Some of you guys might be a life path 5. Okay, and life path 5s are adventurous, open-minded. Okay, 5s are all about conflict and loss, but it's also about rebuild and change and adventure, innovation, risk, freedom. Okay, so there's a lot of that comes with this number, but it's a pivotal point here. It says fanaticism, excessive sense of duty, fixation on dogmas, impatience, intolerance, ideal of perfection, judgment of others. Number 1, type 1, the perfectionist, instinctive center between control and letting go. Ego's pitfall, stress level. Okay, and then we have purification path 53, ego level, leading ethically, thinking and analyzing, working together, common good, emotional needs, interdependency, welcoming vulnerability. Number 8, type 8, the challenger, instinctive center between strength and weakness. 8 is Leo and Aquarius energy coming through here. Yeah. Okay. We have awakening. Oh my goodness. Oh my Lord. Wake me up from this life as a spiritual sheep. May I hear you through my own instincts and common sense. Wow. And then we have grief. Tears are what happen when the ice in the heart melts. Remember I was talking about the snow here. Feeling lonely, maybe feeling abandoned. Tears are what happens when the ice in the heart melts. So the Queen of Swords sometimes is known as the Ice Queen, right? Something thawing out. So we have this green crystal. it says it's green calcite, fertility, abundance, and growth. Nature is calling. Green calcite attracts abundance surrounding you in a forest of clarity, positivity, and heightened awareness, akin to the great outdoors. Green calcite transmutes stagnant old beliefs into the courage, which we are feeling with this 8 here. Courage to explore, adventure with all the 5s, outside of your comfort zone. As with nature, there is beauty in the imperfect, and growth occurs only when we allow ourselves the room to expand. That's that 5 energy. Green calcite opens the heart and the third eye chakra, helping you to let go of past resentments and planting seeds for your growth and expansion. Cancer Venus. By the way, if you're drawn to 1, that was planting seeds. I do suggest you go there, only if you are called, of course. There might be messages there for you. Okay? Yeah. Blue crystal, and this is blue topaz, solar vitality and amplify, inspired by the sun. Blue topaz draws its strength from solar energy, radiating warmth, generosity, strength, and vitality to those who seek it. Seeking healing water. Okay, with an impact as huge as the limitless sky, blue topaz's power is potent, magnifying psychic abilities and inner peace. Use this crystal in conjunction with affirmations and visualizations, as it will amplify your intentions as you envision your future. Blue topaz stimulates creatively and a thirst for knowledge. I keep getting kicked back to the seeking healing water. Maybe we're being called to read this. I'm going to grab the book for this one, okay? It says, granting the ability to express emotions and thoughts in a clear, profound way. That's this. Expressing thoughts through word, through writing. Okay, words that we write, words that we speak. Okay, profound way. Wow, Jupiter, Sun, and Sagittarius. I do not know why I read that in reverse, but I did. So you might want to see these crystals here. If you want to invest in a crystal like this, it might help you throughout your spiritual journey. But I do want to read this one here. Give me a second to grab this book and see what it is. Now, I might not read it all if there's too much, but I haven't used this deck in a minute. Okay, no, it's by numbers, right? Okay, so 10 would be over here. Is that what this is? No, that's 11, and so 10 would be 9. I keep skipping it. Where is it? 10. Seeking healing water. Essential themes. Contemplating the presence of water and its influence in daily life. Creating a deeper relationship with water on a spiritual level. Following the cycle of the moon's tides in order to better understand our life's journey. Okay, we don't need the imagery. Deeper meanings. Water is a healing force. Empathy and emotions are ruled by water element. Many empaths believe that this element can provide the most healing and rejuvenating energy. Our personal relationship to the water. The water element. Yeah, okay. That was weird. Element can keep us from getting emotionally stuck on stagnant life. Stagnant life. Yeah, 5 is all about change. Okay, up to 60% of human bodies consist of water. Evolutionarily, we came out from the depths of the ocean and will always remain naturally connected to the mighty sea. The process of creating a deeper relationship with water also connects to the cycles of the moon. If the ocean's tides are intrinsically connected to the lunar cycle, it only makes sense that the Lady Luna influences our bodies, including our thoughts and our emotions. Metaphysical systems recognize that the new moon is a time for looking within and forming new beginnings. The waxing cycle is a time for increasing the energy we intend to invoke in our lives. The full moon is a time to make prayers and to consider the things we wish to emotionally release. As the moon wanes, certain energies can be intentionally decreased. Metaphysical and astrological systems also recognize that the moon represents emotions as well as subtle unconscious forces that can dictate how we approach our life. How we approach and live our lives. When approaching the lunar cycle with intentional awareness, we are tapping into regular basis. Regular basis is of ultimate importance. Okay, let's connect to the meaning of this card then. Here. Okay, so suggestions for action. Cleansing and purification takes so many forms. If you pull this card, it could indicate anything from a need to simply smudge yourself with sage, or something as complex as completely changing your diet and daily routine. Oracle cards rely greatly on the intuition of the reader, so it's up to you to discover and meditate on the message, and the universe is communicating at this moment. Okay. Interesting. So lots about the moon, lots about working with the moon and working with natural energies here in order to set intentions. So let's keep going. So we have the scholar. Yeah, so it says traits: abrasive, composed, eccentric, inquisitive, serious, and then it just talks about the game. So look at her. She's reading. She's reading a book. She's reading a book. Look at that. It's also a blue book in both of these. So blues talk about self-expression. It's also water here. And we have this Queen of Swords here with the blue topaz. Blue, 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 blue. Wow. Okay. So she's reading. And what did it say? The scholar. Okay. And then the next one we have is called the treasure hunter. Traits: adventurous. What did I say about number 5? And I don't generally always read 5 as adventurous, but yes, adventurous, clever, obsessive, short-tempered, tough. And there she is with the green crystal. You guys, that's very synchronistic. Look at her. She's holding this green crystal. The treasure hunter. She's got fangs, and she could hurt. And this one too. I mean, it's the type of cards that I pulled, but okay. And it's a satisfaction. You let the energy of love guide you to self-approval so that others no longer define who you are. Wow, that's amazing. And so that one fell on my lap. Green, Tara, supreme protection. You're protected. Cords are being cut. Move beyond limitations and trust. Okay. Look at how synchronistic these colors are here on this end. I don't want to forget to do your tarot. So I'm going to put it over here. And we have the card of passion, 71, relationship trap, stress level, intense fascination, ardent affectionality, impetuosity. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Impetuosity, exaltation, get carried away, irresistible attraction. Type 8 to challenge your instinctive center between strength and weakness. Number 8 again, 71. Okay. Let me channel all of this stuff that's coming through here. There's quite a bit, and it's a little bit all over the place. So I want to see what pulls through here, okay? And then hopefully I don't forget to do your tarot. Wow, contributing to the world, you guys. Okay. Beautiful angels. Wow. You definitely have a calling purpose here, okay? It feels like a big thing, okay? And how do I word this? I don't want to say it's like a one and done, but I feel like whatever you're gonna put out there, there's like a masterpiece. You know how every artist has like one or a period of time where they release certain manuscripts or a certain painting or a certain piece of art or a certain birth of something that's it really contributes to humanity forever, really. There's something that you are being called to put together, and it's saying writing here because I do feel like it is. Now, it doesn't have to be like a writer per se, although it definitely could be literally something that you write a book, put some words to paper in some way of a story or of a something. Okay, but I feel like this is really talking about through your experience of life and going through what I think you're already going through for a reason to sort of wake you up to this. Okay, and this is something that you were really on earth here, brought upon to release, to create with this solar vitality. Okay, and Spirit is saying, like, you have to come to this realization or this awakening or this understanding on your own. It can't be like, obviously, when you create this thing, it is going to be through the hand of God, through the dreams, and through guidance. Okay, but it's definitely coming through you. But I feel like there's a stage of experience that you kind of have to experience and understand and go through that is part of the process. And I think you're already on that path. And that path might be confusing to you. You might already feel like you were already pulled, called. You've been seeing signs. You've been guided. You've been really following, and it's been lonely, or it's been cold, or it's been maybe misunderstood, and it's been sort of trying to uncover what was this all for, because I think it's been more miserable, if I have to be honest, than it has been exciting, and that it has been. I mean, it's exciting for sure, but I mean, it's more heavy to carry than I think it's been rewarding. Yeah, it hasn't been rewarding. Okay, and I think your life's been shaken up here. Because previous to this milestone, I think you were living in a world that didn't really belong to you. Okay, I mean, this world belongs to us all, but belonged to your authenticity. It was pretty stagnant, or it was pretty comfortable, or it was pretty much the world you knew. And so Spirit pulled you out of the world you knew, is pulling you out of the world you know, in order for you to have an experience so that you can have some form of an epiphany, some form of tapping into the intuition, some form of realization. And then you're going to give birth to this thing when the time is right, because the time is still coming. And you haven't missed this time, because I think some of you guys might have been on this path thinking, okay, well, where's this leading me? Where's it to? Is this all that there is? And now I'm sort of abandoned here, or I don't know, like isolated here, or just like, sort of walking this path, and you're not really figuring out what's going on. And Spirit's saying, no, the time hasn't passed you by. The time for this peak, whatever this thing is, I say peak, I mean, it's not going to go downhill, but the peak of the birth of whatever this thing now is coming through. Okay, hopefully I'm making sense of whatever this masterpiece, I could call it masterpiece. I think I've read for this before a while ago. I don't know if you're still here from that, but it's like seeing this masterpiece that's being birthed into the world. It's like a one-of-a-kind thing. Like, I can't compare it to anyone else's. And obviously this is a lot of people in this reading, because I think it comes through for each of you guys as the contribution to that niche of whatever it is. If it's art, it's like painting that becomes like the Picasso to the painting world. If it's the song, then it's like the song that gets written that contributes to the music world. Okay, but I feel like it adds to the contribution of the collective here as a whole. Okay, but it comes through an experience that has to happen to you for you to get to that point, or else you won't be in your prime to channel this thing. And how do we channel? We channel when our intuition is very clear. And so I was getting a lot of intuition with this moon energy, because I feel like you are on a path that's very clear and guided, And it might have been very upside down or confusing. And you kind of got to iron out your own sort of self in some way here, because we don't suddenly just snap our fingers and we have clear intuition and we see clearly and we're connected to the divine and we're all understanding. It's like we still got to navigate and heal and figure all these things out. What were we trying to heal and figure out? We had to connect to our own self-worth, self-love. We had to go through difficult, challenging experiences, because somehow it's a part of this thing you're creating. I don't know if it's in direct correlation, but let's just say we experienced, I don't know, living on the streets for 3 years, 4 years. It's like, well, this piece requires someone who's experienced living on the streets for 3-4 years. It doesn't have to be that extreme, but I'm just giving you an example, because I do feel like there's some sort of challenge and then a building oneself up. So it could be like a rags to riches sort of thing. It's like, now I came through the other side, and it's like clearly, and it's like not angry, resentful, or hurt, or like rolling up in a ball and saying, I give up. It's like we're finally able to awaken to the true version of the calling and put our pen to paper or whatever it is that we're supposed to do when the time is exactly right. And so the divine knows when the time is right to birth this thing. But we need to experience what we need to experience first. That's why we're going through all this. And if it means walking through the cold tundra, then that's what it requires in order for this thing to be the masterpiece that it is. Because I do feel like there's been some isolation, some time of navigation here that hasn't been fun. And some having to realize self-worth, and some having to really show peace and grace to self and healing and cultivating this inner strength and this inner courage and this inner divine union with self, so that you're capable of, being in stronger energies here. So I do feel like you're going to be bringing a lot of joy, a lot of happiness. This is your purpose to others through this means of production, if you will. Okay. And I do feel like there is you sort of doing it in a way. It is coming through of your own, but it is obviously being channeled from the divine, because nothing we create on our own, of course. It's always through spirit and the divine. Okay, so, but you're the channel that sort of works with the creator here that can create this thing. And I feel like it's sort of being, like birthed from within you and perfected through you. And I think it is, once we reach a level here that is in tune with the intuition, that sees clearly an experience that we've had from a point of understanding, to where spirit says, okay, we've reached where we need to be in order for us to be able to deliver this thing to the collective that you're pioneering here in some way. Okay. And we're also going to learn from this experience, because I do feel like more unfolds here. And so from this point on, it's like a turn of events here. And this turn of events is like we're really involved in how this unfolds and how we can really impact others. And I think we finally see what it was all for. And we kind of see, from different eyes here, because I feel like it's sort of like a milestone of a different experience or a different life or a different involvement that you'll have here with the collective here. Okay. And so I do feel like there's more lessons for you. It's not the end of the road here for you. It's not like, okay, a one and done, you create this thing and then you're done. I feel like you're going to then level up and involve yourself with more lessons. There'll be more things that you're having to unfold and discover and work on and tweak. And it's like, if you create one thing, it's like, okay, it opens the door to other things, other understandings, other realizations. And it's like, wow, yes. And so I feel like you're going to grow upon this thing. There'll be further growth, further abundance, more things you can develop in birth. But this is sort of the pivotal point of this like masterpiece thing, but I don't think it's like one hit wonder you created and then you just sort of go off into your own little hole. But I do feel like whatever this thing is, this thing is really a huge contribution here to the collective. And it's the pivotal point of the shift of who you are and the next phase here in your growth. Okay, but I feel like it is you and this thing that are very connected, because I do feel like it is birthed from a sincere passion And when we have passion for something and connect very passionately, it breathes through us, and we stop at nothing. It's like when you get very passionate, you can't put anything else down until you reach the level of what you would find perfection for this thing. Okay, now, as any artist knows, we never quite reach the perfection because we always sort of want to tweak and we want to, figure it out in some way, but it's like we can't put it down. We can't put it down. And this is kind of how I feel. It's like you can't put it down because I feel like there's an unfolding here, an unfolding in this world that keeps you fulfilled, that keeps you engaged, that keeps you really sort of living in this world that was non-existent had you not sort of gone through this thing. Okay, but what is this thing? Like I said, I feel like it's the masterpiece in a field. For all of you guys, different. It could definitely be around writing, speaking, words, entertaining, whatever you call entertaining, but it's also healing. Okay, I think it provides healing to the collective, just like a piece of art could provide healing. That's a different type of healing than, let's say, a doctor or a shaman. But the art piece is like healing in the art world because it's so profound. It opens up our mind in different ways, just like a good book, a good piece of literature, right? Would be like, wow, like we still talk about, Shakespeare and authors previous to that have a significant impact on the collective. This is what you're creating. Okay. But I feel like there is a need for us to experience something and get out of something to a certain pivotal point when the time is right, which is healing a heart that might be going through a certain experience here that might not feel good at all times, but we know there's a greater purpose. We know that there's a lesson here. We know that there's an experience. And so spirit wants to see, does pile number 3 turn bitter and turn into like a deadbeat, like drunk in a stoop here? Or does pile 3 step up and learn and understand and awaken to the divinity of this masterpiece and get passionately pulled into this world and deliver something to the collective despite all this and be like, wow, look at pile 3. They've gone through and they understand all this. And now here they are delivering this beautiful gift to the universe. What a gift pile 3 is. This is sort of what I'm seeing here. So that's your spiritual purpose or mission or contribution. Okay, your mission here is to provide this piece of art, piece of literature, piece of understanding, creative thing that really people connect to. Okay, and only when you're primed will the divine know when this timing is. And I feel like the prime time here is when you're awakened. Okay, awakened to that in which the divine's trying to show you. And so I do feel there's something in regards to being connected to the moon. Okay, the moon cycles here, because I think that will allow you to work through your healing, allow you to tap into your intuition, know with the flow of kind of the universe here by tapping into the cycles of the moon. And with the supreme protection, you are protected, cords are being cut, move beyond limitation. So as long as we're still in the world of what happened and limited, then we're not quite capable of coming to that step here. Oh yeah, and one part I missed, I'm so sorry. Whatever this thing is, it's almost like you've been, it's almost unexplainable here, because it's unexplainable to people that don't realize. Maybe it's like, oh my gosh, like someone who's never ever wrote a book at all created this masterpiece. And I'm not saying that you never did this thing ever before. You might actively be doing it right now, whatever this thing is. Okay, but it has this sort of flavor to it. And what Spirit's really talking about is the reason you're able to rise to that level is because in your past life, you've already been like engaged on that path. This thing isn't just in this lifetime's ability. This has been cultivated for many, many sort of lifetimes. Well, I don't know about how many, maybe a few, maybe one other lifetime, but I know that this is in the past because it says soul memories and gifts. You've done this before. Okay, but it's not you released that masterpiece before, but you've done this sort of thing in the past. And so who better than the divine to drive it through you to be able to provide it in this day and age to the collective with the language of this energy of the here and now to deliver this masterpiece. Okay, because I feel like you're the perfect person to deliver this thing according to the divine, or else why is it coming through you? Why does the divine pick Picasso? Why does the divine pick whoever to do whatever? Because it's perfect, because the universe is perfect. So you are the experienced person to deliver this based on your past lifetimes, okay, whatever this thing is. And it'll be like, wow, like it'll seem almost like you've been, doing this masterpiece for many years, and maybe you write it overnight. It's kind of giving me like, Alanis Morissette wrote her album, I think they said like overnight or something like crazy, and it like sold, I don't know, many albums here, and it was like an overnight thing, and that's like, where does that come from? We see the divine here working through this person, so it's like you're being, like possessed from the other side of the divine to be able to deliver this thing. It's unworldly. And it has to be unworldly because it's impacting the collective here with some significant impact. So let's see, Spirit, what am I missing exactly? I don't know if I'm explaining this right. What am I missing for pile number 3 in regards to their spiritual mission? What am I missing? What questions do they have here in regards to what this is about? 2 birds, so 2 swords in reverse. Lots of swords energy. Okay, we have reading. That's a lot of knowledge. The Portrait of Albert. These are special cards in this book. I will read you this one, okay? It's fairly short. Portrait of Albert. Wow. And we have trees, 7 trees. So this is the 7 of Wands. Why is the 2 of Swords here in reverse? We have the Fool in reverse, Aquarius energy. And we have Temperance, Sagittarius energy. A lot of healing coming through your reading. But like I said, you got to be in the right energy before you can make your masterpiece, right? So this is giving me like, you have to have all the right ingredients. You got to be primed. You got to be balanced. You got to be healed in order for this thing to be delivered. Otherwise, we're still working on that. 2 of Cups in the sideways position here. And finally, why is this 7 Wands here? And we have the 9 of Cups in reverse. Okay. And we have the Knower of Trees. This is the Knight of Wands. And under the Knight of Wands, we have the 6 of Cups in reverse. That's giving me this energy. Soul memories and gifts. You've done this before. Yeah. Okay. Portrait of Albert. Portrait of Albert, and I do feel it's over here. Portrait of Albert. It says, bright through nobility. Albert is the name of my animal guardian. That's this Rachel Pollock, by the way, who's crossed over. So she wrote this, okay, her guardian angel. Or her guardian angel, her animal guardian, a red fox who reveled, Linda's funny, a red fox who revealed himself to me in the workshop I co-led with the wonderful Joanna Garulio Sherman, creator of the Sacred Rose Tarot. The guardian both accompanies us on our journeys in the realm of spirit and guards and helps us in very practical matters. This, to me, is an example of what the major arcana should be, a connection to spiritual realms, but also something real in our lives. The name Albert means bright through nobility. Getting this card means a sense of protection and the ability to ask for and receive help. Yes. So, what was I getting? Connection to the other realms. The moon. This angel who's holding her hand, who's working through her. You're being guided from an unworldly energy, okay? Guided to this masterpiece thing. And this was talking about abundance here, okay? Fertility, abundance, growth, in a practical way to bring it to the 3D. From the ethers down to the 3D, you're being guided through your guides, through signs, symbols, synchronicities, dreams, guardian angels, whatever the divine, through this experience. Okay, and I feel like there is a need to find balance and harmony, and you might have experienced a lot of turbulency here a lot of situations that haven't been working in your favor here, okay? And I feel like with the Two of Swords in reverse and this Two of Cups in the crossing position, it's like having to experience turbulency and stagnancy and not maybe seeing our way through and how to get through something, no matter how hard we try or no matter what we understand. It's like we have no choice but to put our hand up and ask for help and be guided by the divine. And so I think this is by design. We can say, well, why would the divine leave me in the dark and put me through all this? Why? Because again, this experience was being called for you to have a certain understanding. This Queen of Swords goes through a certain understanding. And so I don't know how that's looked in your world. It could have been broken relationships. It could be stagnant situations, being stuck for a long time in situations that don't bring us a lot of joy. Whatever this is wasn't very good. And whether we realized it or not at the time, we were stuck. We weren't moving. We weren't creating. We weren't producing. We felt maybe stuck in quicksand. It's like, I want to create something, but I don't know how, or maybe I feel stuck or whatever. And it's like the freedom comes when we ask the divine and work with the divine and say, guide me, show me. I'm ready to work however it progresses here without putting ego's timing, knowing that I'm going to trust the divine's going to lead me here once I'm healed and balanced, once I'm ready, because you're going to be one side of this equation and the divine and your materials and your experience is the other side here, blended together in order for you to create this masterpiece. The masterpiece can only be created in the right temperature with the right ingredients at the right time. Otherwise, we're creating something else. And it's not something else. It's the masterpiece. The masterpiece is exactly perfect. So you have to be this balanced, beautiful, healed person through the help of the divine. Okay, and now this is something that I feel you're going to be very passionate about with the 7 Wands. We're going to be able to walk and talk and speak our truth with conviction, with fire. Okay, and I do feel like this is overly abundant for you emotionally, and it's overcompensating you for, I feel, what's been missing and what's been withheld or what's happened to you. Because the divine isn't just going to put you through some experience of suffering or stagnation or lack or whatever so that you can write this masterpiece and then be done with you. What do you sort of balance out here? You energetically get overfull with abundance, passion, emotional joy, bliss. Okay, 9 of Cups in reverse sometimes could be like the gluttony, but I feel like this is like we finally get what we deserve in a way here. It's like finally, it's like a night where we have pizza and food and chips, and it's like we feel really good. We feel overly abundant with the experience we had here. Like, and now when it rains, it pours. People all around, money all around, abundance all around. It's like overflowing. It's like I can't keep up with all these people. I can't keep up with all of what, whatever. People want to interview you. People want to buy your books. Like, I don't know. This is like an overabundance. We can't keep up. We can't take every interview. We can't be everywhere at all, but we can choose. So there's an influx here because you got to reward yourself in a way here to make do with all of whatever's happened here, because I do feel there's been suffering or some trade-off. Okay, so this is the Knight of Wands, passion. You're going to know when it's in front of you to pursue it here. Okay, and so I do feel with the 6 of Cups in reverse and this lost land, soul memories, you've done this before. It's like the reason we are stuck, stagnant, or still in a world that doesn't make a whole lot of sense here is because we have to be connected to this soul recognition. We have to be bound to the soul contract. We have to be familiar with the experience in some capacity in order to produce the masterpiece. Okay, we have to. And so this is why the 6 Cups in reverse. We can't move forward from this. This is soul contract stuff that we were called upon to do with the divine through whatever, an agreement, through an understanding, through some past life thing. It's like, hey, remember pile 3, you can't move on from this thing until we do this, because the greater good is the collective. The greater good is delivering this masterpiece. That's what's at stake here. That's what you're going to do. And so there's no moving on from this thing. It has to be rolled out, but it has to be rolled out on the divine. And when you sort of work through your healing, through your balance. Okay, but the divine doesn't just put it through you all of a sudden if you're not ready and not healed. And so you do have some say in this, because divine wants you to be also working with the divine here to heal and to be balanced and to be ready and to deliver. Okay, And so we might feel like something is sort of keeps us like, I don't know, like I feel like there's a longing or a knowing or something here that feels like I'm supposed to do something, or I remember this thing. Yes, you're right. You do. Okay, so ask the divine. Ask the divine. Say, hey, help me to heal. Help me to be balanced. Help show me this way. I want to be here, because I do feel once you're here, it's like, wow, you'll be like really like in a position here where I do feel, whatever this thing is, it could be competition for other people and change a lot of things. And, sometimes when masterpieces come in, it doesn't have the buy-in of every single person. Some people might be conflicted. It might change a lot of minds. It might convert a lot of people. It might ruffle a lot of feathers, but it's the change that we need exactly as we need it. So it might cause conflict for some. And so we might have to get involved with like advocacy or like explaining and working with this in order to create change, because I do feel like this thing creates change in the world, and sometimes change comes through people having bad experiences or seeing some other angle of something, and it's like they wouldn't change or things wouldn't change until, the catalyst. So your masterpiece is a catalyst to change, or a catalyst to healing, a catalyst to this sort of thing that's going to be, I don't know, developed into the world. Okay, you're birthing this thing through obviously the help of the divine. And so I do feel like Spirit wants you to be in an energy here that isn't, too out of balance. You have to be in the right energy at the end of the day in order for you to deliver this thing. Okay, and then I feel like you're in control and in the driver's seats. There's no one else here that can dictate, what's right, what's wrong. It's like, no one can dictate what I can do, and the capabilities within myself. That's going to be very evident to you, and you're on a higher ground here to be able to defend whatever you need to, or speak about whatever you need to, or have conviction about whatever you need to, and stand behind whatever you need to, and do that sort of thing, whereas maybe in the past you might have felt very limited, almost like maybe you were silenced, maybe you were incapable of driving this thing because you weren't seen or understood, or not aligned with the right people or the right circumstance or whatever. It's like, wow, when it rains it pours. So ask for the divine to sort of guide you through this thing. Know that your path is one of healing and balance for a very good reason. So everything that happens is for a divine reason. Nothing's of accident, even if it's challenging, even if it's painful, even if it doesn't make sense. Okay, especially if it doesn't make sense, because that develops your intuition. Trust in the guidance. Okay, trust in any spirit animals, and maybe you have spirit guides or spirit animals that you see. Okay, maybe Albert is something of a name that means something to you, but you'll know it because you'll be fired up, very fired up. Okay, but I do feel, and look at all these bees, and even by the 7 wands, like we might really be put sort of main stage here, open to fire. Okay, now this doesn't mean that you're going to be hurt in any way. You're protected. Supreme protection. Okay, you're supremely protected. But look at her. She's all standing here and all these bees and everything, and she's just there. Nope, I'm speaking my truth. I'm delivering this thing as I should. Nothing can hurt me. It is delivered. I've done my thing here, and I'm in a higher ground here. And this is like no longer anyone can define who you are. So it doesn't matter what people want you to change it. Write it this way. Do it that. It's like, no, the divine is in charge here, and I'm, supremely protected to roll this out. Yeah, that's an energy for sure, and I don't know if it's just people coming out of the woodwork, maybe wanting a piece of this thing or whatever, but nobody can touch you here. Okay, I do want to see what this 9 cups, right? I know I'm going off, but I want to see 9 cups in reverse here, because I do feel like it's when it rains, it pours here. Why is this 9 cups here? And it's very emotionally fulfilling. Why is this 9 cups here in reverse? And we have the 5. Yeah, look, breaking tradition. This is Hierophant energy. You're shaking things up. Shaking up how people see things, maybe how they're used to things being. It's like, no, I'm rocking the foundation of structure. I'm rocking the foundation of dogma. Look at, yeah, even this. This said, fixation on dogmas, impatience, intolerance. And it's like, I'm seeing a tower here. It's like the fall of this. So in that niche or in that field, it's like art is only done in this way. And you're like breaking convention. It's like, no, art could be like this. It's like, whoa, no one knew of making art in the ocean or something like this, right? Like, I don't know. Like, it's totally unseen, a masterpiece. It can't be reproduced. It's totally different. It cracks the structure, the foundation. It really pushes the limits of that niche, whatever that is, that art world, that community, that grouping, that sector of art. I keep saying art. I don't know what it is. You know, it could be above art. This could definitely be in humanities, humanities. I don't know. It impacts the collective here. Okay. It's a big calling, and I'm so honored that you're here. I'm honored all of you guys are here, but you'll have to tell me what this is. Like, it's a very clear message here. I don't know if I did it justice because I don't know any of this type of stuff, but you'll know because you're already sort of feeling something here. And maybe you started here desolate, you know, like I said, but you're getting called here. So put up your hand, work with your divine guardians, with the divine, to get balance, because this is coming. And if you're already like working on this thing, because some of you guys might be, I'd be really curious to see if you can share. I don't know. Maybe you can't. Maybe it's hush hush, you know, but how beautiful. I do love this. And I love when people buck convention. I love when people push outside of the box. Okay. Outside of structure or none of those things. So I'm so blessed you're here. I love you guys so, so much. And I love your passion. I'll see you guys at the next one. Bye.